Singed. Singed was in a bad place, but now he has an updated model, he has textures, new ability icons, and a new base splash. His fling has been updated as well, and his insanity potion has been really, really buffed. So see here, it's the same for the first 2 ranks, but once you hit level 16, 80 ability power, armor, magic resist, movement speed, and health per 5 seconds, and mana per 5 seconds. So will this make Singed viable? Of course not. Of course Singed isn't going to be viable. Let's not even joke around here. I might say, oh, he's a little buff, people might use him. He's a very niche pick, and you still won't see him in a lot of your games. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. Scion's health per level. So he has 420 base level, plus 70 per, and so just add 3 extra times 18, and you'll have his extra health now. Obviously with masteries that gets rounded up during percentages and stuff like that, but there it is. So they changed his passive. Scion's health decay in passive form now scales with his champion level 2 times the level first tick, increasing by 1.4 times level per tick, and that's a big one. That's a lot of health, because his max health, 0.5% max health first tick, increasing to 0.4% max health per tick. Look at those ratios went through the roof. So hopefully this whole Scion buff, that's not it. It's his passive, it's his general health, it's his Q and his W, and his E just got a little bit of a nerf, which is just 10 mana. But his Q here, all crowd control types now correctly refund Decimating Smash's cooldown to 2 seconds. And I did notice that bug. I noticed that bug while playing him, and I'm glad that a lot of these things are fixed now. And yeah, fixed a bug where Sunfire Cape wasn't working while Scion was in his passive zombie state. I recognize that one too. Good job for Riot for fixing these. I don't know if Azir's in here. I don't think so. He would have been here by now. But he still has some bugs as well. Now, his Decimating Smash costs less mana. His W costs less mana. And his Roar of the Slayer costs an additional 10 mana. So, oh, look. There's Azir. Anivia. Fixed a bug where Anivia wouldn't cast Flash Frost in the direction of the cursor if she wasn't in range to cast it. Okay, small bug fix. Cool. Azir. These are the big ones. Fixed a bug where the damage from Azir's Sun Disc would not ramp up properly like a tower. Thank you. I've been wanting to play Azir for the longest time. These aren't game-breaking bugs, but they're just very annoying when they don't happen. It makes Azir feel unfinished, right? It makes him feel like a champion they just rushed out because he came out, I don't know, no less than 2 weeks after Gnar, and he just felt rushed, and there were a ton of bugs, and I'm glad that they fixed all these things. Good job handling this one, Riot. Fiddlesticks Crowstorm. Fixed a bug where rapidly spamming a basic ability at the very end of Crowstorm's channel sometimes caused that ability to go on cooldown without casting or appearing to be on cooldown in the HUD. I haven't seen this happen, but I cruise the forums a lot, now the boards, and I have heard of this, and they finally fixed it. Now, Janna, this isn't a very large change like they say here, but it's kind of a big deal because her W is one of those things that makes it her kind of like, not the ultimate peel machine because that's more her Q, but it's kind of like the thing where it's hard to engage her when she's using this W every 8 seconds, you know. And Howling Gale fixed a bug where Janna wouldn't cast Howling Gale in the direction of the cursor if she wasn't in range to cast it. I think this is one of those things that everyone's kind of experienced, because I know I have, and I barely even play Janna. I probably played her, I don't know, 6 times in the past month. But there you go. Those 2 things are fixed, and that's a pretty small Janna nerf, but it's recognizable. That's it's not going to knock her off God tier, but it helps. Oh God, the Lucian. No, but first of all, LeBlanc. Flashy plays Flashing no longer details LeBlanc and her clone while mirror image is triggered. Awesome, awesome. I like little details like this because it makes your passive actually work. You know, your passive should have worked like this from the beginning, and now that it does, awesome, awesome. I like to see things like that fixed. Lucian. W no longer has an attack damage ratio, but gives more movement speed bonus at later ranks. That might actually work really well, and I'll tell you why. Because his W, the attack damage ratio was small. His W is not known for doing damage. Your max Q and your E, and then your W last, and by that time it literally does no damage. No damage. But at later levels, it goes up from the movement speed bonus to 40, to 45, 50, 55, 60, which I actually think is a buff. I actually think is a buff to him, and Lucian is one of those champions where they say they nerf every patch, and it ends up that he's buffed every time. right? So Ardent Blaze, I really actually like that change, and it might help him because that movement speed is going to help him kite and get off more bursts just faster and faster. The culling. This is a big one. This is a big one. No more wave clearing like they did to Ziggs a couple patches ago. No more of that. They didn't even buff the damage like they said they were going to do in the patch notes that I covered last week. They didn't do anything. The cooldown at max rank at level 16 now is 90 seconds from 50. Huge. His ult now, without even doing the additional damage, it really does nothing late game. If you're not fed, if you fall behind, this ult is useless. And I'm surprised they did that because I didn't really see his ult as too much of a problem where he's spamming it too much. But I mean, I guess it was, and they fixed it. Maybe they'll take it back, but we'll see, man, because that's kind of huge. Now, Pantheon, someone that I played a lot. Fixed a bug where rapidly spamming a basic ability at the very end of Grand Skyfall's channel sometimes caused that ability to go on cooldown. Yes, it did. And I've experienced this firsthand many times. And Pantheon's one of those champions that they've been messing with the past couple months, and he has had quite a few bugs, and I'm glad they fixed that. Now, Ryze. Ryze, I always said didn't make sense having this much power early. It's like Kog'Maw, who would be able to do enough damage as Lucian early game, and he does the most damage with all 6 items late game. It's ridiculous. Ryze should not be able to bully out other top laners. I mean, if you even have more skill than the other top laner, Ryze should not be able to physically bully him out of lane. Get this champion out of the early game, right? I'm sick of seeing Ryze everywhere, and by 10 minutes in, or by 13 minutes in, he has his Rod of Ages, he has his tier stacked and all that. No. And then 20 to 25 minutes in, he's doing all this damage. No. Ryze should start to really pick up 30, 35 minutes in the game, and thank you, Riot, for noticing this. And like they said, this is kind of a light nerf for what might happen, how dominant he is early game. Obviously, late game, that's what he does. He's a late game scaling champion, but early game, he needs to be toned down, and he really was toned down. Now, via excessive force, they just fixed a bug where excessive force wasn't properly dealing splash damage in its cone of damage. Nice. In Warwick, a bug where he was fixed a bug where rapidly spamming a basic ability at the very end of Infinite Duress's channel sometimes cause that ability to go on cooldown. Now, there's a lot of that this patch, and I didn't even know that happened to Warwick. I'm not a Warwick player, but this next one is kind of big. Zillion. This is it. We got the last global passive in the game. Damn. I don't really think this was a good idea because Zillion was played for one reason, and one reason alone. Obviously, his ult is great, but that global passive was the key to so many strategies. Like the early Rengar that we've seen in the LCS getting to level 6 before everyone because of this passive. You might see a lot less Zillion play, but I mean, this also really brings him back to the support role because heightened learning affects allies within 1500 range. So you might see this as a support, but the only problem as Zillion as a support is because he has no peel. He has no peel. The ult is fine, but the ult is kind of bad if you're getting trapped under, 15 forms of CC and he has nothing to peel for you with. So, I don't know about that. I don't like that, in my opinion. That makes him a lot less viable. Now we have all the splash updates, which I'll be throwing in this video. And for the jungle, it's Crest of the Ancient Golem and Blessing of the Elder Lizard have been renamed to Crest of Insight and Crest of Cinders. And we have the Victorious Morgana skin. And that is about it. Obviously, just a little store improvements and patch improvements and things like that. But overall, patch, some things were changed that I like, some things that we didn't. I like the Lucian changes. I think they were much needed. He's been dominant for far too long. But I don't think that's much of a nerf, to be honest with you, besides in lane. But anyway, that was patch 4.19. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys later. Peace.